Welcome back, everyone. The Big West and WCC have officially kicked off. UCI has an up and down week. UOP continues their dominant ways, and a special Spartan guest stopped by that we're very excited to talk to. All that and so much more on this episode of Water Polo Wednesdays.
Welcome back to Water Polo Wednesday with Wes and Clay.
I'm Wes.
I'm Clay.
Got that
And
one.
you can be sure to follow us here on, that was flawless. You can be sure to follow us here on Spotify and on YouTube. And if you guys have any topics you'd like us to cover, any thoughts or comments or just hate, feel free to email us at waterpolowednesday at gmail.com. All right, it wasn't flawless anymore. Wes, we had another great weekend of water polo, didn't we? We saw US UCSD focus, Clay, UCSD and UCI game. Cannot wait to hear your analysis on that one in particular. Let's get right into it. What went right and what went wrong for UCI UCSD on Friday?
Yeah, so this is a good game. It lived up to the hype, man. It was 6-6 at half, so it's kind of a tale of two halves. Very close in that first half. I felt like UCSD was outplaying UCI. Ackerstrom had 3 goals in the first half. Axline was doing his deal. We had a chance to talk to them a couple weeks ago in the center, and then the second half happened, and it was like a different team. No goals from Ackerstrom the rest of the way. And UCI kind of ran away with it. They shut down Ackerstrom, and then there wasn't anybody that kind of stepped up. At one point, UCI went up 10-7 late in the third, and they kind of cruised. It did end up being a 1-goal game. It finished 12-11. UCSD just didn't have the depth of shooters or center play. Axline and Ackerstrom are so critical to that team, as we know, but they absolutely need someone else to step up right now. And I'm not sure they're getting that. They're not getting it from their depth pieces. And it's not easy to do, as we know. But look, Bennett and Landon can't take every shot. And so it's got to come from somewhere else. And they're not getting enough production.
Yeah, someone's got to do it. So big time win for UCI. However, earlier in the week, they lose to CBU. Great win for CBU. Way to go, Lowry. What happened there?
Yeah, Lowry and Rosa, of course, getting their team ready. These things happen. UCI should win that game, right? But based on the rankings, they should. But CBU came ready to play. Rosa always seems to have his guys ready to go. I feel like UCI mistakenly overlooked them, and CBU made them pay. So I'm sure that didn't sit very well with Klatt going into Friday's match against UCSD. But you could see UCI going into CBU going, we're not really worried about Wednesday's game. We're worried about Friday's game, because that Friday's game is a conference game. Right. And they did win that game, right? So it really helps them in conference. But yeah, it's a tough loss. You never want to lose games you shouldn't.
Yeah, it's hard to stay focused for every single game of the season, but that's also what differentiates the top teams. So It's a long season, but it goes by very quickly. Now on to UOP versus number 12 San Jose State on Friday and Long Beach State University on Sunday. Please break down the San Jose State game first, then the UOP game.
Yeah, so this was like the first game first game I've been able to see UOP play against quality opponent, right? They did beat Princeton a while back, but wasn't able to see that because it was back east. UOP's solid. They're a good team. I'm not sure yet. I haven't seen enough yet to say they're elite, right? We really won't know for another couple of weeks, in my mind. I do believe they should make the NC2A tournament. They do not play any MPSF teams until the NC2A tournament, assuming they get there. But I like the way UOP plays, and it's a little bit different than everybody else, Clay. I have to tell you, their game is a little bit more dynamic, where we see a lot of these teams sitting up top, shooting from the outside. They do their fair share of that, but there's a lot more movement. And so in their game against San Jose State, they played very complementary both on offense and defense, and they work very, very well as a team, which shouldn't surprise us because they're very experienced, right? They've got a lot of international players who have played together for a long time and are very mature. This is a very old team, arguably one of the oldest teams in the country, I would imagine. Certainly the oldest, most experienced starting line of any team in the country. Now, we highlighted this before when it comes to San Jose State. So UOP taking on San Jose State. But Bensei Sabo, who's the center for San Jose, is the key to that team's offense. All UOP did in that game was give up 2 exclusions, and Bensei got 2 assists. He didn't get a single shot off. Right? So that's pretty unbelievable defense. That's not one guy doing the yeoman's work. That's a team deciding we're going to stop Bensei from hurting us. And so he didn't get a single shot, and it really took San Jose State out of their game. They were not prepared to not be able to give the ball to Bensei. And so then San Jose State kind of jacking up shots from all over the place, way outside, really far out, bad angles. And Bay Fontaine, who's their goalie, I mean, he's a good goalie, and he's not gonna just, he's not gonna give up those kinds of shots from 7-8 meters. He looked unbeatable, but in truth, I don't think he was really challenged because the angles of the shot, the lateness, the tardiness of their shots coming so late in the clock, and the distance that they were shooting from.
Yeah, when your offensive strength is really structured around something that you're depending on, like your center, like Bensei, and that's completely taken out, it can be pretty difficult to adjust as a team and have other guys really step up in the way that they need to. So a pretty dominant and convincing win, that you'd say.
Yeah, they're convincing for sure. They're cut above San Jose State. I honestly thought it'd be a bit closer. They're cut above San Jose State.
Yeah. So then they move on to play the number 9 team, Long Beach, who just beat Cal on Saturday.
Yeah. So Long Beach, number 9 team in the country. San Jose State was 12, so they're moving their way up here. Long Beach beats Cal on Saturday. Cal's still trying to figure some things out, as we've kind of documented. Long Beach, on the other hand, looked very cohesive in that game. They did well to finish their shots. They played good defense against Cal. Cal just kind of still struggling, right? Bit like a wounded animal right now, as nobody is fully healthy, and they're still missing Valera. And so even though Casabella is in there, he isn't shooting or playing a ton because I think his shoulder's still hurt, and Valera is not playing at all. So candidly, I don't know if we'll see Valera again this season, which is sad to say because you hate to lose a talent like that from water polo. I'm just not sure how impactful he can be after being out this long. We're middle of October. That's 2 full months of being out. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know we're really excited going into the season, seeing what that Cal team, for who is on it, would be able to do this season. But that's the way it goes sometimes. So talk to us about how UOP handled the Long Beach State attack.
Yeah, so UOP is what I would call a very self-aware team. They know where their strengths are, and they play to them. And they know where their weaknesses are, and they're very alert about them in the sense of they kind of they kind of shift their focus to say, we know that we need to be able to do this.
Say more.
So Mihailo Vukovic, who I think is the best player in the United States right now. Okay, I know Ryder Dodd is scoring 1 million goals. I think he had 8 goals, and he was 8 of 12 shooting the other day. But Mihailo Vukovic is their primary center defender. A former 1-2 attacker for the Serbian national team, junior national team, I should say, is now playing center defender because he's so tall. I think he's 6'7", right?
Awesome.
No matter who you are in water polo today, you're not Mihailo Vukovic. There's not a second Mihailo Vukovic, okay? So if he's out, it doesn't matter who comes in. It's still going to be a major drop-off. You get where I'm going here?
Yeah.
Right? So what does UOP do? How do they protect him? Because he's an elite shooter. He's surprisingly fast. The dude moves through the water incredibly well. And he's a great defender in the sense he's so long and so big. He takes up so much water, right? So you get Vukovic protected, so no off-ball exclusions or entries into set are compromising him. He can play off slightly, so he doesn't have to body people. And frankly, he's so long, he can play off and then reach, right? By playing off, he's then able to field block and take away cross cage and corners. And then he can rest a bit more on defense. And in doing so, then he breaks out. So they've got this very complementary system where it's a bit of a drop. It comes back. They help on center defense. Mihailo's there for anything that's coming in because he's so long. And he can shot block that then leads to their strength, which is their counterattack, right? And for a guy that big, he glides through the water, man. I watched him kind of swim past people against Long Beach State, and I was like, this guy, this is special, is what I'm watching. So
yeah, it's really interesting when you have that kind of talent and body and size as a defender that you still can't entirely depend on your defense just playing a full hard press on them, because you do put them at risk of getting into foul trouble. So despite having a great defender, still running that zone, still tiring out their center and pressing on the attack, kind of gets best of both worlds, assuming the other team doesn't have a completely dominant 2, 3, 4 shooters up top.
So. Yeah, or even just guys who are willing to drive, and you're seeing this. These teams are not driving. And so these teams are playing zones and the offense isn't driving. So the zones are like, oh, we'll eat this up all day. These goalies at this level are good enough that if you're shooting from 7 meters, I mean, you're asking to get countered at that point, right? And it really troubled the San Jose State and Long Beach State this weekend, right? Like nobody willing to drive. And then on offense for UOP, they have a Hungarian transfer center from Wagner and a center from Israel, a guy I actually played against a couple years ago. And look, these centers are not Dash McFarland, Max Miller, who I think are the elite. The second tier is going to be your George Avakian, Jordy Gascones, Bennett Axline. There's a few pretty good centers, Marcel Sheshi. These guys are kind of like the lower end of that, candidly, from a pure talent standpoint. I'm not saying they're not good, but you're talking about some pretty elite guys. Like Dash may very well be like an Olympian here in 3.5 years, right? So what do they do well there? They hold side really well. And you used to talk about this a lot, where centers can be productive in more than one way, right? So more than just scoring goals, which is obviously we prefer that. We give the ball to you, put it in the back of the net. We'd love that. But they can draw defenses. They can shift to the 2-post and draw that 4 all the way across to open up lanes. They can draw exclusions and make life miserable on counterattacks for people. Oliver and Ori, who are the 2 centers for UOP, again, both foreign, can both draw exclusion quite well for this team, and that works great for them because of how good these guys are at moving the ball together and the chemistry that they have on the perimeter.
Yeah, so they're working the ball to the middle, getting exclusions, and finishing from the perimeter. Sounds like it's working pretty well.
Yeah, it is fundamental. Now, what I thought was really cool, and UOP is pretty dynamic, and this is where I think UOP is a little bit different than everybody else. Their maturity of like, I know my role is different, right? So the thing about UOP, which impresses me the most, is that you have guys who are willing to do things that maybe don't benefit them personally immediately. Now, Vukacic is kind of all world. He does everything, and I think he throws harder than anyone I've ever seen. No joke. I think he's got to be close to 65, 70 miles an hour when he throws the ball. Now, Royel de Souza is a brilliant right-handed passer on the 4-5 side, but he can also shoot. He's got really long arms, kind of like a Landon Ackerstrom, right? Really long arms and can rip wrist it near and that kind of thing. Yep. Very dynamic, right? Jeremy Cote on the 1-2, another Canadian. Royel is Canadian. Mihailo is Serbian. Jeremy Cote is Canadian. Great post-up player. Loves to body. His body craves contact. Okay, so he loves to get into you, and he does.
But it works out in our sport really well.
It works out well in our sport, but like he's hard to guard. And I've heard other guys on other teams say, I don't like guarding him. He's constantly bodying me. He's constantly posting me up. He's elbowing and he's physical, right? He's a good shooter too from the 1-2. So if you play too far off, he's not a guy that's one-dimensional. Is where I'm going, right? So he can do a few different things, and he's good at it. And then you've got Gil Gavishi and Stefan Vavic. Neither of them are going to be elite outside shooters. Stefan is a very good passer. Gil is very smart. But those two drive constantly.
Yeah.
And that's their job. And as good as Royel, Mihailo, and Jeremy are, if those two guys aren't moving, you end up looking just like everybody else, shooting from the outside and playing into a defense's like hand in that sense, right?
Yeah.
So that's the job of Gil and Stefan, is to create, and they move a ton, and that's what makes the magic work on this team. Now, they're the most movement-oriented team I've seen, and in doing so, it opens up these centers because the drop's either going to go with them or they're not, and they're going to be wide open, right? And it allows for their centers to draw exclusions and get opportunities. They're going to need to continue to play complementary like that to beat some of these better teams as they progress, but it's been impressive, and they've kind of dismantled these teams. I think they won. I'd have to check, but I think they won by 5 against Long Beach. Yeah, it was 14-9 against Long Beach and 14-6. So they're holding teams to under 10 goals, and they only gave up 6 to San Jose State and 9 to Long Beach State. So 5 and 8, frankly, respectively, Long Beach and San Jose State.
Yeah, with this kind of personnel and this kind of team discipline and movement, we were talking the other weekend about how Stanford was playing lockdown defense, and what was starting to work was when USC was starting to move on them a little bit more. So when you have that team that's doing that from the start, what's that going to look like? But they're not going to have a lot of MPS teams coming up. So who should we be on the lookout on their schedule since there isn't?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I went through their schedule today. Been going through the different team schedules, see when some of these bigger games are lining up. UOP gets Princeton on Friday. Now they've already beat Princeton. They beat them 12-11 earlier this year, and then they get Fordham a week from this Friday. So that game on October 25th, I believe it's at the Julian Fraser Memorial down in Santa Clara. That is going to be interesting. Fordham, to me,
Oh boy,
might be the fourth best team in the country right now.
Really?
Yeah, even ahead of UOP. And Bacharach, who a former teammate of mine, is bringing them out for an 8-day road trip to the West Coast, and so we're going to see how they hold up. Right, they're going to for sure be in the NC2A tournament unless they get knocked off by Navy late. But they get UCSB, San Jose State, and UOP all within a week. I can't wait to cover them next week as we lead into that to start talking about some of the hype. It's going to be a lot of fun to see those games kind of unfold.
Yeah, it just keeps getting better and better with these matchups.
It does, man. It's exciting. It's exciting to see these East Coast teams.
This is one of the most exciting seasons we've had in a minute. I would say they haven't been in the past, but man, this is just, like you said, parity at the top.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. Next up, we have another buddy of ours, Bensei Sabo, the dominant center from San Jose State University, joining us coming up right after this.
All right, and we're back. Welcome, Bensei. We have Bensei Sabo here from San Jose State. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. Right?
Hey guys, hey Wesley, hey Clay. It's amazing.
Hey, bro.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thanks
man.
for
Of course, appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to chat with us for a bit. We're really excited for you to be here, right? Like, you guys just started your conference play this week. Talk to us about San Jose State. You're in your final year. How is that going, right? And how's the team? Tell us what's going on with you, Coach Gabor. Everything that San Jose State's got going on.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been really amazing. This is my fourth year at San Jose State. It's been a lot of fun. I mean, I think I've grown a lot as a person and as a player as well. I met amazing people. I think I made a lot of lifelong friendships. So it's really been great. For this season, I mean, our goals are big. Obviously, last year we won conference, so we want to do it again. We want to feel that again. So it's been good. I think it's been really good. We just had a tough loss against Pacific last Friday.
Yep.
But I mean, we had a good video session and swim session on Saturday afterwards. So I think that helped us, and I think it helped us kind of think about the game, and we all fixed our issues and stuff. So I think now we just need to move forward and focus on the next games. So
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Awesome.
I want to talk a little bit about your play as a center. So talk to us about, I'd love to hear what's going through your head when you line up at half, about to have your offensive possession. Some centers like to really take their time, get down to 2 meters, and then be explosive in the final seconds of the shot clock.
Yeah.
And some try to find sneaky opportunities early. Do you have a set strategy in your head as you start an offense?
I mean, obviously, my main focus is on to hold one side and just wait for my teammates to pass to the other side and then get the ball there. I don't really have any crazy tactics. What you said, that being explosive in the last few seconds, I think that has been helping me a lot. Kind of taking my time, swinging to center, and then in the last few seconds, kind of hold aside, get position. So I think that's been really helpful.
Yeah.
And then that, nothing crazy, I think.
Too crazy.
Nothing
Sure.
crazy.
So, and who would you attribute your skill set and game knowledge to at the center position, and what were one or two keys that you felt unlocked your game?
So, I mean, my idol growing up was Gabor Kish from Hungary. So
sure,
I was
speaking Wes's language here.
big center. So
I mean, yeah, he's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
but not Molnar Tamash.
I mean him too. Him
He
as well.
gives him an
He was the greatest center ever.
Yeah, no, I know. That's 100% agree with that. But I don't know.
No,
like
but Kish is a
always
lefty.
Kish is a lefty. Kish is a legend. He's a legend.
Kish is a lefty.
Yeah, he's a lefty.
Yeah. So his game is really good. I think one of my strengths could be in center. I would say, I think my backhand. Maybe it's I mean it's pretty fast, and I don't think a lot of goals would expect it, like a fast backhand out of center. So yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Gotcha.
All right. I love that. I'll let it go. I mean, Gabor Kish is obviously amazing, right? Like,
yeah,
he's a gold medalist. It's hard to say anything that's like, but I mean, growing up learning from Molnar Tamash, Dr. Molnar Tamash. I mean, but okay, we'll move on. So, all right, we like to ask this question of the guys that come on our show. Talk to us about a specific metric or goal you have personally, or the team, right? Like if it's number of exclusions, if it's number of natural goals, if it's 6-on-5 percentage. We've heard a bunch of different ones. Love to know, hey, what's your focus? Maybe what's your team focus?
Yeah, so as I said earlier, obviously our main focus is on winning the conference right now. Mm-hmm. We play a good amount of games this season. Yeah. And I feel like we make a little improvement every single game, which is huge. We always watch a lot of video sessions and we always learn from our mistakes. And I think our main focus right now is on defense. That's what we really need to improve right now, especially watching back the game from last week.
Yeah.
Just kind of coming up with one or two, three defensive plays that we are on the same page and we can run during the games. And on offense, we are trying to get me the ball more, actually, and kind of create more 6-on-5 situations because our stats in 6-on-5 has been really good. We have been scoring most of them. So, yeah.
Not common.
These two things are our main focus right now.
And I agree. I mean, we got to get you the ball, right?
Yeah.
Let me ask this: how did UOP neutralize you so well? I mean, it's the first time I've ever seen you play. I've been watching you now a couple of years. The first game I've ever seen where you didn't have a single shot.
Yeah, right. It was a tough one to swallow, but I mean, I'm over it right now. I feel like Pacific did a really good job. I mean, we really couldn't really know, we didn't really know how to break it. Our shots were on spot this time, but it's okay. I mean, that's what we are working on right now to kind of make the job harder, with better shots, better passes. So
yeah. I mean, look, you move forward, right? That's
part of the season. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we always have up and downs. We lose and win as a team. It's okay.
Yeah. Love that. Do you have any plans to play a pro anywhere after college?
Yeah. That's my main focus on right now too. The next school and volleyball, I still need to plan my future. So it's pretty exciting. I have big goals with water polo in life, so it's definitely one step to play pro. And eventually, I mean, right now I'm looking for a club where I can improve and again get better as a player, as a person, and then eventually get to the highest level. So.
And in Hungary, you're gonna go back to Magyar?
I'm thinking of going to Spain or Italy. That's my two. It's right. I feel like as of right now, this is the two most competitive leagues. I mean, Hungary as well, obviously.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they just won Champions League, right? Ferencváros.
Yeah, so 100%. Yeah,
pretty good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes, pretty good.
Listen, Bence, thank you so much for joining us, man. Anything else you want to add to this? We loved having you here. We appreciate you taking the time. It's kind of your
shout outs.
Yeah. Again, I just really appreciated that having me here. It's really nice. It feels nice.
Well, you're a great guy. We've loved getting to know you. Thank you again. And I cannot wait. We've got a little over a month till the conference tournaments. It's going to be exciting. Every week has exciting games. So good luck, buddy. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
We're watching. We're cheering for you, bud. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. Take care.
And that concludes our fifth episode of Water Polo Wednesday. Wes, any final thoughts?
I mean, this has been so much fun, and we talked about it last week. Just thank you to all the great comments and feedback that we get. You know, it means the world that you guys are like even listening. We do this because we love water polo, and it's great to hear how many people just love water polo. So really appreciate everybody. We wouldn't do this if nobody listened. Maybe we would. But
maybe. That would just be a phone call, though. But unless we...
which we do enough of anyways. But thank you, everybody. This has been, first 5 episodes. I cannot wait for the rest of the season, Clay. I am so excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think our microphone feedback was a little bit better this episode too. Yeah. Hopefully.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great night.